Hey, it's Alexis, and welcome back to another day of Bookmas. This is not the most flattering angle. But anyway, today I want to read a book. I'm just in a reading mood, so I have all the books that were in my 10 before the end video sitting right here. Yeah, all 10, because I still haven't read one. So we're gonna read one of those today, and I think I know which one I want to read. I think I'm in the mood for The Girl He Used to Know by Tracey Garvis. It is a standalone book, so I don't have to worry about it being in a series or anything. And this is just the mood I'm in right now. It's about this girl about to graduate college and like start her life in the world, and like jumps 10 years into the future so that she's like actually using her degree and whatever. And next semester is my last semester of college, so this is gonna be me in about 7 months. So I just think it's fitting for me to read this, and hopefully we can finish this whole book today, because why not? So let's go get comfortable and start reading this book. Okay, I didn't even make it out of this room, but I just read the author's note, and it says, sorry, not the author's note. I just read the acknowledgments because it's like the beginning of the book. And it says, I have taken creative liberties with this story. The Illini Chess Club does not meet in the food court of the University of Illinois Student Union, but rather in a specific room. So she like took real things and changed them a little bit. Vivek, I think I say that, who is a real person, appears in the book as a member of the chess team who represented U of I in the 1990 Pan American Championship. And from what I learned via research, he is a truly phenomenal chess player. The other members of the team who appear in the book are all fictional. And I also owe a huge debt of gratitude to Eric Rosen, who is a member of the University of Illinois Chess Club and team, and whose knowledge and input was so beneficial in the writing of this book. And then she also goes on to thank somebody else for advising her on all things related to the U of I, like the campus. It says, I hope you enjoyed the trip down memory lane as you provided the names of lecture halls, dining establishments, and bars. So, at least the stuff in this book is going to be real, since it is taking place at the school. I just thought that was an interesting fact to know, because I didn't know that. So, let's go read this book. I am afraid that Annika is me and I am Annika. It says that she volunteered at the animal clinic, and it says, with the amount of time I spent volunteering in the clinic, one might think I aspired to a career in veterinary medicine. Animals were one of the few things that brought me extreme happiness, especially those in need of my attention. The other volunteers might have assumed the animal provided a escape from the loneliness and isolation that surrounded me during my college years, but few would understand that I just simply preferred the company of animals over most humans. If there was one thing I loved almost as much as animals, it was books. I'm Annika and Annika is me. Unfortunate. I guess not unfortunate, because it's like always fun to like connect to the characters you're reading, but like I think I connect more than I probably should. I don't know. I'm having fun with this so far, but again, I'm on chapter 3, page 9, so we're not very far in, but totally I'm Annika. Okay, she said more. That's me, guys. Until my dad taught me to play chess at the age of 7, there wasn't a single thing I was good at. I was never taught how to play chess, so I don't relate to that part specifically, but it's what she says after that I do. I did not excel at sports, and I was all over the board academically, earning either the very highest or the very lowest marks depending on the class and how much it interested me. The liberating shyness prevented me from participating in school plays or other extracurricular activities, but much like books, chess filled a void in my life that nothing else had been able to satisfy. Though it took me a long time to figure it out, I know that my brain does not work like other people's. I was never into chess as a kid, but one thing that I was really good at was writing and spelling. And I always was like having my dad or my grandma come up with like, it's not hangman, but it's like where it's kind of like you like write the dashed lines out, kind of like hangman, and then you have to like figure out the code. So they would have like a dash for the letter I, and under it was like a triangle, and anything that had a triangle was the letter I, you know, stuff like that. That was my favorite thing to do. And I also liked to make up stories as a kid. That's what brought me joy. So like I relate, but it's a little bit different since it wasn't chess specifically. But yeah, that was That was like my childhood. I was obsessed with making my dad and my grandma make me one of those little solve the code puzzle things. I don't know. I think they were annoyed by it, but they did it because it made me happy. So I get what she's saying here. I was not expecting to relate to her this much though. Like I read the back and she's a English major, anxious in social situations, and she'd rather be in the library surrounded by books. Like I read that and I was like, yeah, that's me, but like this is me. This is me. Feels like Tracey was in my head and like pulling out my childhood memories. She's calling me out again. She's calling me out again. She's talking about her roommate and she said her roommate's palate ran towards the gourmet side of things, while mine aligned more closely with the dietary habits of a 6-year-old. More than once, I'd seen Joe staring at the grilled cheese or chicken nuggets on my plate, while Janice stirred something complicated on the stove. I appreciated her willingness to keep the smells in our apartment to a minimum. I have been a picky eater my entire life. Certain foods I cannot stand the texture of and it makes me want to throw up when I eat them. I have like certain foods that I would consider, I guess, safe foods that I'll eat, and I get looks like that all the time. Was not expecting this to be a book about me. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I just made it to page 21, chapter 5. And the two of them have ran into each other. It's been 10 years since they graduated college. They ran into each other at the grocery store. And he gave her his phone number and she said she would call him, but he wasn't sure if she would actually call him. She ended up calling him and they're gonna go out to coffee on Sunday. And he just said, in his point of view, maybe she called because she's finally ready to remove the pebble from my shoe once and for all. Aside from that, I want to know, despite how I feel about the way our relationship ended, that she's okay. So I hope we get some background information and we know what happened between them. So we saw that it flashed back 10 years to when they first met, which was during chess club. He had to be her partner for the day and we saw how that interaction went, but that's literally all we know. So hopefully we get some more of the background knowledge because now I'm interested to know why their relationship ended. So let's get back into this. Okay, I was reading The Girl He Used to Know by Tracey Garvis Graves last night, and I think I recorded like my reaction to the first 5 chapters or whatever, but then I went Christmas shopping with my husband and I was audiobooking it while we were at the store, and the vibe of the book just like changed, at least in my opinion. So at first I was really vibing with it and I felt like I literally was the main character, but then it started getting kind of weird and it was like to the point where she was just beyond anxious. Like, she almost couldn't even function as a human being. Like, I don't know. It was kind of giving me, like, weird vibes. And I was like, is there something more going on than her just being an anxious being? Because trust me, I'm super anxious. Like, been diagnosed with it, everything. But, like, she was taking it to the extreme. We find out later on that there is more going on. But I feel like I was expecting something different than what I was getting in this book. And I think that's, like, what kind of disappointed me a little bit. So, like, my rating or my expectations were up here and I got, like, right here. I have less than 100 pages left though, so we're gonna finish this and then we're gonna read another book because I feel like I didn't get enough clips for you guys because I read most of this while I was in the store last night. But after we finish this, I think we're gonna pick up Rules for Fake Girlfriends by Raegan Revord because this is also on my 10 before the end and it's fairly short, so I feel like I can finish it today. So let's get into reading. Okay, so I just finished this book and I think I'm gonna settle, I don't know, 3.5 stars. I liked this book, but I feel like I had a different idea of what it was supposed to be. So I feel like if I would have known all along, I would have liked it a little bit more. I don't know, I just felt kind of let down a little bit. But that ending though, I was nervous. I'm so proud of her for doing that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with 3.5 stars. This was good. It just wasn't amazing like I thought it was gonna be, but that's totally my bad. I kind of had a different idea of what the book was supposed to be, and that's okay. But now we're gonna start reading Rules for Fake Girlfriends by Raegan Revord. I've actually read the first 4 chapters already, so I'm going to try to start on chapter 5, and if I don't remember, I'll just start from the beginning again. But let's go start that book. Okay, so I went to sleep last night after I finished The Girl Who Used to Know, so I did not start Rules for Fake Girlfriends yet. Well, technically I started it months ago and I got like 28 pages in. We're about to start this book, but isn't this naked hardcover beautiful? I'm in awe of it. I don't know why. But let's just pick up where I left off because I basically remember everything. She wanted to go to school, I think it was Columbia, but then she got this postcard in the mail from her mom who passed away telling her about this like scavenger hunt type thing at the school her mom went to, which was in England. So she decides to go there instead. So now she was on the train traveling there, and I'm about to start chapter, was it 5? 4. It says like rule number 4, so I'm assuming it's chapter 4. So about to start that, and it looks like her roommate is finally showing up because I think she has like an apartment or something. So let's just get back into this. So the roommate, Maddie, it says that their major is art, and Avery pulled like a painting out of the box and was like, "You painted this?" And it says, Maddie glances over, saw what I was holding, and snatched it from my hand. "Sorry," I mumbled, although I didn't really know what I was apologizing for. "No, it's fine, it's just," Maddie swallowed. I'm just not used to showing people my art. I frowned. "Why? You're so talented, and I mean, you're an art major." Maddie laughed a little. "Yeah, exactly. My ma'am never really wanted me to go to college for art. She wanted me to major in like business or finance or whatever would lead to a stable career, if that even exists." And I just thought that was kind of a funny sentence because in today's economy, there really is nothing considered a stable career. You will lose your job all the time for anything, or you just won't get hired because you don't have enough experience, but then you can't get experience because nobody will hire you. So there is really no stable career no matter what you go to school for. So go to school for what you want to go to school for. So Avery is at the school that her mom went to, and this year would have been her mom's 25th class reunion, but her mom died in May, so she's obviously not going to be able to make it to this reunion. But Avery just found out that her mom does have a time capsule buried there, but nobody knows where it's at because it was up to the students to remember where they put it. Like, the administration has no idea where anybody's is hidden. So I think that's what the postcard that she got from her dead mother was about. She has to go find this time capsule. Interesting premise. I like it. I don't love this book by any means. Like, this is definitely young adult, and you can tell it's definitely young adult, but I really just wanted to read it to support the author, and the premise sounded good, but like, I'm intrigued to find out what happens. I just don't think this is gonna be like a 5-star. Okay, let's do a quick update. I'm on page 117. It says Rule 11, so I'm guessing chapter 11. I'm still kind of confused on the chapters. The book isn't bad, but there's a lot of inconsistencies happening. So you can like definitely tell this was a debut novel, and I don't mean anything bad by that, but like, I don't feel like it properly went through the amount of editing it needed to. There was like this plot point in the beginning of the book where Avery was like, "Oh, I texted my best friend to see if we could hang out," and then it didn't get brought up again. But then in like 2 chapters later, her friend calls her and is like, "Hey, we live so close to each other now, let's like go to lunch or something," and then they don't talk about that again either. So that was kind of weird. And then something happened between Avery and Charlie that was like kind of, I guess, embarrassing. Avery and Charlie hung out at least once, if not twice, since that incident happened. And then there was suddenly a point where Avery was like, "I don't know how to respond to her if she asked me about that embarrassing thing. Like, you guys already hung out since that happened and she didn't ask about it. Why would she ask about it now?" You know, so there's like really inconsistent things happening, but it feels like just the story itself is kind of progressing weird. So like, the main idea on the synopsis is talking about this scavenger hunt that Avery's mom left for her figure out, I guess, solve the scavenger hunt. And that feels like it's like the background, and that she keeps forgetting about it because other things are happening on top of it. It feels like the idea for the book was over here and the way it's executed is over here. Like, I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense. And there's also a character in the book named Maddie, who I'm assuming is non-binary, because Raegan started out using they, them pronouns for this person, which is all fine or whatever, but like halfway through the book, like page 100-ish, suddenly Maddie's pronouns are now she, her, and then in the next paragraph they're back to they, them. So I'm like kind of confused on what's going on there. It kind of feels like this was a last minute idea for the pronouns to be they, them for Maddie, because it doesn't really line up with the tenses. So it'll be something like they does. And I don't think that's proper grammar. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. I understand the idea of trying to be inclusive and stuff, but if you're going to be inclusive like that, at least do it correctly. Like, I don't have an issue with it. It's just the fact that it's not the same like tenses lining up, so it's kind of pulling me out when I'm reading it. I think they does is not right, you know, stuff like that. So I feel like this book should have just went through a little bit more editing before it was published. I am having a fun time reading it. I am kind of enjoying what I'm given, but I feel like the editing just wasn't all the way thought of, I guess. There's 290 pages and I'm on page 117. Okay, so I just finished Rules for Fake Girlfriends by Raegan Revord, and I think I'm gonna settle on a 3 stars for this one. So this wasn't bad by any means, but there were some pretty big inconsistencies in there, and it kind of drove me a little nuts and kind of pulled me out of the story a little bit. Other than that, I did enjoy reading this, but it felt like the ending was rushed. It kind of felt like the beginning of the story was kind of dragging a little bit, and then we got to like a good pace, and then suddenly at the very end we just like zoomed through it. So I didn't really enjoy that part either, but again, it's a debut novel, so maybe that has something to do with it. But I feel like they should have taken a little bit more time with it and edited this a little bit more. I'm sure that there were editors on the book, but like there should have been more of them or something. I don't really know. In this video, we had 3.5 stars and a 3 stars, which isn't a terrible rating for either book, but it just also wasn't what I was fully expecting when I was so excited for these books. So I am a little bit disappointed in them, and my recommendation would be that they're just mid books and maybe don't read them. But again, it's up to you guys to decide what you do with your own money and what books you read and whatever else. So these might join my unhaul pile and go to a little free library. We'll see what happens. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and seeing my thoughts and reactions on these 2 books. Hopefully I will come back with another reading vlog very soon, because I'm just in a reading mood right now. Hopefully I will see you guys tomorrow for another day of Bookmas. Hopefully you're still enjoying this, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.